Hi, it's Rev.
And I'm Sam.
And we are What Yacht To Do. We have actually been around America's Great Loop 2 times. And I can tell by looking over the videos that I took since we crossed our second wake, I think there was a mutiny.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do any more videos. And Sam didn't want to do any more videos, and we both experienced that at different times.
Yeah, and there was actually the trip that we had right after we crossed our loop. We didn't video at all, and it felt weird. And then we had another trip to take it to Harrington Harbor, and we kind of got used to it. So then when we decided that we would move on and maybe do a third loop, maybe not do a third loop, we were like, hey, are we going to video? Are we not going to video? And we were just going to, why don't we just enjoy it? And then some days we go like, oh, we really need to share this with you. So here's where we are. It's like we're in that no man's land, but we're catching up, and we're going to share with you our trip from Kingston Marina up to Troy downtown Marina. Now it's a new marina there. Last 2 times that we went, actually it was, what was it? It was trip 8 on our very first loop, and we were just talking heads during that time. But we went past it on the second loop on trip 131, and we could see where they were starting to build that. So we really got to experience a very nice marina in Troy, New York. So as we move along this trip, it's 62 miles from Kingston up to that Troy marina that we're going to show you a little bit. It was one of those trips too where we go like, hey, it's 62 miles and maybe we should stop at Donovan's Shady Harbor, where we stopped on our second loop, and we went right by them. So we were like, we really didn't have a plan, did we? Other than we were trying to get the boat to put her inside winter storage.
So today's video is our trip from Kingston, New York to Troy, New York.
We'll be going up the Hudson.
Now we do pass Albany Yacht Club.
The Troy Lock will be coming up, and Rev is getting excited about that. So
can't wait.
Yeah, we got a bridge up here, and we'll be going by the Albany Yacht Club where we stayed last time.
And it's at that Albany Yacht Club that I had a breakdown.
On the first loop.
On the first loop, thank you for that. Yeah, I didn't have a breakdown every time we went, but I was so nervous about the lock because the Troy lock is the very first lock that you go through where we started in Baltimore.
So there we were at the Albany Yacht Club. So Rev has a little bit of meltdown, and let me tell you from my perspective what it was like. It's our 8th trip. But we have the very first lock coming up, and we had fueled up. I don't know if we had pumped out, but we're all ready to go. And I look at Rev, and she gave me this look like deer in the headlights. So you want to tell them about what was going on? I said, you've got this. It's a lock. We'll be able to do it.
I didn't have it. I had yet to find somebody to tell me how to do a lock as the first mate. I had great confidence that Sam could get us into the lock. I had no idea how I was supposed to keep our 50-foot boat against the lock wall. I just didn't know what to do. I couldn't find anybody to tell me what to do. Fear. It was
so, and
fear.
I didn't make it any better. I said, hey, you have all the equipment. We know what we're supposed to do. Just manage the lines. We talked to another boat there, Life's Travails, Paula and Tom. If you're watching this, you will remember that. Albany Yacht Club on our very first loop. In any case, we made it through.
However, I never want anybody to ever experience the kind of fear that I felt before my first lock, which is why we put together How to Lock on the Great Loop. It's an online course. I'll leave the details in the description below. Please,
I gotta
if
tell
you're
you,
afraid, get the course.
well, I got to tell you from my perspective, I watched Rev work on this lock course for over a year because she says, "Oh, I'm so worried about somebody who's going to go through this kind of lock. They won't know what to do." And she did a great job videoing all the equipment you need, and she worked on that lock course.
It's jam-packed.
And so it's jam-packed. And we did an overview of all the locks that you could experience on the Great Loop. And so we hope that if you take that course, it's available on greatloopacademy.com, that you will feel confident knowing the lock systems that are on the Great Loop, knowing what to do from a captain's perspective. I have a couple little tricks in there, like my 7S's, my 5S's, and those types of things, techniques. Locking is really, I consider it mostly art. There's a lot of science to it. Obviously, the water's going to go up and the water's going to go down, and there's different types of locks, but how you do it depends a lot on your boat. So Rev really worked a lot to get footage, and then you explain as a first mate what you do.
Exactly. All the equipment that you need and what your role is from start to finish.
And then we take you through the last part of the course. There's really 12 ways. When we sat down and we thought about all the footage we have from getting from one elevation to another, whether it's up or down, there's really 12 different types of systems that we are going to explain to you with hands-on how to work those systems, all the way from ropes, lines, cables, pipes,
All different
all
kinds,
that kind of
right?
stuff.
So don't worry, we got you covered, so you can lock with confidence and feel competent in any lock that you face on America's Great Loop.
So bringing it back to this trip is we're now at, when we get to Troy, we are just a couple miles short of the Troy Federal Lock. And that lock is there to control the Hudson, water coming down from the Hudson. Of course, the Hudson is tidal. Even up that far, you will get some current that comes from the tides. So it's a control lock, so to speak. And then beyond that, we'll be entering the Erie Canal and the flights of locks and all those other types of locks that Rev now is an expert on.
Well,
I won't say we're experts, totally experts, because sometimes things do go wrong, but we know how to handle those things now.
Well, thanks for coming along with us.